Good morning and welcome to another session of Step Up Talks. Today we explore online branding, online marketing, digital marketing, whatever name you want to call it, but we just want to better understand when I want to brand, when I want to market online, what do I need to know? What do I have to do to be able to position myself in the digital platform and be able to access my customers? So with us in studio, we have Samuel. He's going to introduce himself. Samuel, please share your name. Share with us briefly about your journey before we get into the nitty-gritties of online marketing.
Yeah, so thanks a lot, Anne. My name is Samuel Baraza. I'm currently the team lead at Skyzone Communications, which is a digital marketing agency that focuses on helping businesses and brands, develop their visibility online, as well as market their products and services through things like social media marketing, social media advertising, development of websites, doing creatives and online branding. So there are different facets of brand reputation building that we do at Skyzone Communications, and I lead the team here that helps our clients do that.
Okay, thank you. And just having a discussion with you before we went live, there is a lot that you want to share, and I really appreciate that. The fact that many of us actually want to create a presence online, but at times we don't know what we are supposed to do. So please, before we get into the advanced level, please just share with us, how can I as Anne, or how can I as whoever is listening in, build a brand online? How do I maintain that? How do I ensure that I am creating a tribe online, for lack of a better word, a community online? How can I go about that?
Okay. Now, most of the brands that I've interacted with, most of the brands that we've worked with are brands that started from scratch. And I understand your question basically from that aspect. Like, you really want to market your products online, but you don't know where to start from, right? And
Yes.
you're a startup. So most of
Yes.
the companies we currently work with, we started with them from that level. There are different aspects of building your online brand. It's just not tied to one aspect. And that is what I'll be talking about. There are almost like 7 different facets. And I'll talk about them in terms of the order, like the way what starts, then what follows, and whatever subsequently follows the other. So the first thing that you as a brand would need is to know how to develop your creative materials, even before you think of any other thing, because what people see out there is what they will judge you, or rather they will kind of make a decision based on the look you give them, the face of your company. And the face of your company is based on the artwork and the creatives that you do in terms of graphic design and all that. So I'm sure you've come into contact with some brands that just do Microsoft Word at logos and all that. The perception you have of that is this is a very low quality brand, as opposed to one who's done a very professionally designed logo or professionally designed artworks. Now, one thing that most startups fail to do, they always think that doing those things, you need a lot of money, like it's expensive for people to do that. But there are different, in the current age, there are different tools that you can use to ensure that you do these artworks and these graphics professionally and maintain the quality that your startup clients will actually be able to interpret or look at the face as a professional company. Now, some of these tools, for example, for graphic design include Adobe Photoshop, there is Adobe Illustrator, there is Fireworks, and then there is one that is now, which I would recommend for those people who are starting. It's called Canva.com. It's an online tool that if you're starting out, you can actually develop, you can design your logo, you can design your business cards, you can design any artwork that you want to post online on social media, whatever online platform you want to use, even on your own website. You can use this canva.com site, which is free, completely free, to develop those. As long as you have the concept in mind that you want to achieve, then you can use these tools. So that is the first thing. That is the face of the company that people will see. The second thing you also need in terms of building your brand is to set up your social media profile. Because yes, you've done your graphics, but you also need a platform where you're going to post these graphics. So the second thing would be how to set up your profile, your social media profile, so that it looks professional. Just don't put writings, as I mentioned before. You do a Paint. I'm sure you've come across Microsoft Paint. Most people use Paint to develop graphics when they're starting, forgetting that it has a negative impact on how people perceive your business. So how you set up your social media page will either attract or fan away your clients, your prospective clients. So there's a way, once you've done your graphics so well, come and set up your profile, your business page on Facebook or your Twitter account using those professionally done artworks. Use marketing language on the description. Now, by marketing language, I mean, some people go to the description and say, for example, if somebody views the description of your page, they see you've just talked about yourself. They don't see you talking about what benefit you're going to give them. Because if I'm a client and I'm coming to you for a service, I want to know what I'm benefiting out of that. I don't want to know about you as an individual or you as a company. I want you to tell me what benefits am I getting from, involving you, or rather making you part of this partnership that we'll be doing. So just as an example, for Skyzone, I would say on the description, Skyzone started in this year by so and so. That is very irrelevant to a client who's coming to look for business. But for example, if you say we can help brand your business online and ensure that customers find you even without knowing your business name, that already has an impact on that prospective client who's looking to sell their products or services online, because they now feel like we want to help them in doing one or two things. So when you're setting your social media profiles, even when giving descriptions and all that, ensure you use a language that the customer feels like you're really answering their questions. Whatever content you put on the site, make sure you put a phone number that is actually available. Most people will put a phone number that 2 months down the line is not able to go through and all that. Give as many contacts as possible on your page, your email, your website, if you have one, and all that. So you need to set up your business page, join relevant forums online, because you cannot just market on your page alone. You need to join other forums where people will be discussing some of these services or products you're selling. That will actually ensure that you have a multi-level way of marketing your business and the services that you provide, or the products that you provide. Now, another thing that most people forget is it's always good to comment on other people's pages. If you set up your page, ensure you go to other people, whatever they've posted, as long as it's relevant to what you do. Try and comment on what they've posted, because it kind of encourages them to come back to your site, to your profile and like your page and start engagement from that level. So you'll kind of get more likes and more followership if you also comment and share other people's posts on those particular forums, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, and all those particular platforms. Whatever it is that you're doing currently is very recommendable. You have to do, sometimes you have to also do some live videos, right? If you have like free giveaways for your product, it actually helps when you're setting up your social media account, especially the first week, because you want now to build that traffic when you're setting it up. Come up with offers and all that will make people now come and engage with you before now you fully now engage into that. So social media is a very important aspect. There are so many people on social media, but again, you need to know how to approach social media. Not all social media accounts will actually, not all social media channels will help you achieve your goal. For example, when it comes to there is creating awareness, there is conversion. Different social media channels have different purposes. So if you want, for example, to do conversion, just from our own experience, we found that Facebook kind of
Samuel, just a sec, when you talk about conversion, what does it mean? Because it can be perceived as jargon for those who are not very familiar with the online.
Okay.
Yes, what does
conversion basically mean? Yeah, conversion basically means you have these prospective clients and you want to convert them into paying customers. Right? Like you've got an interest from people, but now you want them to pay for your product or your service. There are channels that are not conversion based. For example, I'll give you an example. Twitter. Twitter is more of creating awareness. Yeah, like there's this particular service we offer, use the hashtags and the trends that are available. But very rarely will you find people converting on Twitter. But on on Facebook, for example, you'll find once you post a product, because of the engagement, you'll find that because of that closed engagement within a particular product, Facebook has more conversions as opposed to, I'm not saying Twitter doesn't convert, but Twitter is more aligned to creating awareness of a particular service and a particular product because of the provisions of those hashtags that work so well. So if you want to build your brand and so that people know what your brand is, go to Twitter. Yeah. But if you want to convert your customers more, go to Facebook or whatever channel. So it will, depending on your business, you're able to assess which channel works best for you. So that if you're posting just specifically for awareness, you know what channel to use mostly. If you're posting for conversion, you know what channels to use. So you have to set up your social media marketing so well, such that it integrates with those different facets of your business, the awareness part and also the conversion. Now let's assume
just another clarification. You talked about the engagement on social media, because at times somebody advertises something and it takes like a whole 24 hours before they respond. What would you advise would be the ideal timeline in terms of posting an ad and responding to the queries that come thereafter?
Yeah. Now, in terms of response, we always advise you to respond immediately if you're available. Like, for example, so many social media channels provide a way in which can notify you that somebody has asked a question about your product. Recently, Facebook has launched a particular module or plugin that will tell you so-and-so has asked you a question. It will not just tell you have a notification from so-and-so. No, it will tell you this person has asked you a question on your page. So it's always recommended that you answer those questions immediately, because customers also have what we call a life cycle. So if you delay, they'll go to the next available option. Remember, you're not the only one who's on social media marketing that particular product. There are other people who are doing the same. So if you take time in responding to such queries, you might end up losing a lot. Yes, you might respond after a day. The customer might actually appreciate your response, but he might have made that purchase decision with another supplier. So it's always recommended that you respond as soon as possible. Make use of the notifications that these particular social media channels give you in terms of response. And these days, it's actually even integrated in terms of SMS and all that. So you can just respond even on your phone, assuming you're not in a position to respond like in an office or at your home, maybe on the road. You can actually respond that via text, or if you've integrated, or rather you've installed Facebook or Twitter, whatever social media channel on your smartphone, you are able to do that for those people who use smartphones.
Okay. Yeah. So you had talked about the creative aspect where the graphics come in, the logo. You talked about social media. So please share with us the other aspects of brand reputation.
So now that you've set up your social media, remember social media, you don't own social media channels. They are owned by other people. So in as much as you're building a community around social media, that is not your community. It belongs to that social media channel. So the next thing you should think about is registering what we call a domain name, so that you can now transfer this particular traffic that you get from social media to your own channel. Sort of, let me call it a channel. It's like another profile. You're just transferring traffic back to where you have control over. Remember Facebook, yeah, you'll have the likes and all that, but remember you'll be posting products. At some point, you'll have to transfer to having a website. You need to start making people know that you have this particular platform where you can now transfer the sales. Now, most purchases are made on your website, not on the social, in as much as there are social media channels that convert, but you'll find that most particular services or products are actually sold after the client has come to your website and they've actually seen the product plus the description, the long description, and they're able to make that purchasing decision based on the information you've given them. Remember, there are social media channels that don't allow you to post a lot of content, and most customers will make that purchase decision when they have more information about that particular product. So for example, Twitter will restrict you on the number of characters you're supposed to use, right? So that is limiting in some way. It will also limit you to around like 4 images of that product or that service. So that is limiting. So you need to have a platform where you know you are free to post as many pictures or as much information as possible to ensure that the client can make that purchasing decision. So the next stage is to register that domain name that has your business name. So for example, if maybe you're dealing in, okay, I'll just give an example of Skyzone. Skyzone, we have a domain name called www.skyzone.co.ke. Basically, a domain name is that address through which will, your prospective customers are able to find you, right? It's like your address. Where you live or where you're located has an address. So the domain name is that address through which people will be able to find you. So even before you think of designing a website or developing a website, think of first having that domain name. You don't need to develop even a website. All you need to have is that domain name and what we call a landing page or a holding page. Now, this holding page within that domain name should have just basic things like one paragraph about your business name and a form where people can fill if they want to get in touch with you, plus the contacts if they want to call you. That is enough for somebody who's starting up. You don't need that big website at first. Just try to convert the traffic from social media, tell them to come to your site, they will leave the contacts there. Now, there's a reason why you want them to leave the contacts, and we'll talk about this later when we'll be talking about the next segment after domain name registration. But also, when you register your domain, it gives you the opportunity to communicate to your prospective clients in a professional way, because in this case, you are able to also create what we call a corporate email account. So most people you'll find, because you've not registered a domain, when you're communicating with your customer, you'll use a Gmail email or a Yahoo email. But when you register your domain name, for example, Skyzone.co.ke, you're able to create an email that has your domain name. So it kind of gives a corporate look to that email. So I can say, like, my name is Samuel, I can say Samuel@Skyzone.co.ke. So when I'm sending an email to a client, I'm able to use that email, and in such a way, I'm able to brand my business. And the client has this professional perspective of what this business is about, as opposed to that person who sent with a Gmail account. So there's a benefit to registering your domain. It doesn't cost much for those people who want to do it by themselves, as opposed to engaging agencies. Because when you engage an agency, there's a consultancy fee, because they'll have to advise you on, like, if you come to Skyzone, we'll give you advice on how to come up with a domain name. We will help you configure those emails, as I talked about the emails and all that. We'll help you configure the emails. We'll help design that landing page for you. So you'll find that if you go through an agency, the cost will be slightly higher because of the consultancy fee, right? Because of what they're giving you, as opposed to just the domain name. But these are things that you can do yourself if you're a startup or rather a beginner. You can just go to sites like hostgator.com. You can go to godaddy.com, which actually offer an online platform where you can register that domain. And you'll find that it's very cheap. You'll spend around 1,000 bob or something to around 800 bob to 1,000 bob. register a domain, right? So for those people who are starting out, and you can use Google to do your research on how to craft your domain name and all that. But later on, if you feel at some point that you need professional advice, that is where Skyzone comes in place to actually help you come up with a domain name that will actually spark that enthusiasm that you want from your own brand, right? But this is something you can do by yourself. Now, when you're doing also the emails, ensure that you attach signatures. And these signatures should include like artworks that we talked about when we're talking about the graphic design. Some of the products or services that you're promoting. Some people send just emails and they actually sign it off as regards or faithfully your name, right? We always encourage that at the bottom where the signature part is, come up with an artwork of a product that you're promoting at that time. So for example, if you're promoting a product on training, come up with a very nice artwork that talks about that will spark the enthusiasm. You never know where the clients come from. So that is also another way that domain name registration can help brand your business through use of signatures and font types that go hand in hand with actually your brand. Now the next thing, now once you have your domain, kindly make sure to link your domain to the social media accounts that we talked about before. So that if somebody comes to your social media profile, they're able now to translate to now your website, because you want them to come to your website to get them, to have a control of your customers. On social media, you have no control, right?
Now, just some clarification, because when we talk about websites, there is the extension, the .com, .co, .org. Is there any meaning to that, or somebody can just choose anything?
Yeah. Now, with regards to the extensions, I'm sure most people have seen that there are websites. Like for example, for Skyzone, ours is .co.ke. There's a reason we chose .co.ke. There are those who choose .com. There are those who choose .org. Now, the symbolism of the extension is if you're targeting, like for example, Skyzone, we wanted to brand ourselves as a Kenyan company. So that's why we chose a .ke domain. So .co.ke basically means this is a company in Kenya. So we wanted to brand ourselves as a Kenyan company so that maybe this is something you might research later. There's always that pride for organizations, especially within Kenya, giving tenders to Kenyan companies. So sometimes if you use .com, it might not do you well. People will have that perception. Remember, we talked about perception at some point when you're talking about graphic design. Also, your domain name can give a perception. But if you don't think having a .co.ke will create a perception on your prospective client, we always recommend you to use a .com, because a .com extension is the most popular extension. That if you just tell everybody like my name is Skyzone, or rather my business name is Skyzone, they will always go online and say skyzone.com, right? But if it affects how you're doing business, then I would prefer, for example, to use, like you'll find NGOs use .org. So you'll never find an NGO that uses a .com, because it will affect how people perceive that particular organization. So you'll find, if you're talking about, for example, which NGO do we know that is like WWF, like Oxfam, you'll find most of their sites end up with .org, because that is the perception they want to create to their donors. So the most popular is .com, which we recommend. That does not restrict you to any regional kind of a physical location or a regional section within the world. But again, you need to also do your research within your prospective clientele or your target market to see if that particular extension is going to affect how they perceive your business, right? So you can choose, there is .ke, there is .info, there is .biz. There are so many extensions, but just do your research well to see the impact of that extension to your prospective customers or your target market.
Okay, thank you. Yes.
Yeah. Now, let's assume now you've registered your domain. As I've said, registering your domain it shouldn't be an expensive exercise, but it's if you want to brand yourself online, it's one of the mandatory things you must do, so that it kind of builds your brand. There's something we'll talk about later that will be linked to this. and I'll talk, at least I'll bring this aspect back. But the earlier you create your domain name, the better for your brand building, your online brand building. Because the way online searches work is they look at how long your domain has been registered. They will rank domains that are new lower than those that have been in existence for long. So if, for example, you have a domain name that is 5 years old and somebody else within your sector has a domain that is 1 year old, the way search engines will rank those two domains is different. The 5-year-old will be ranked higher than the 1-year-old. So the earlier you create your domain name, the better. The earlier you register, the better for you, because it will help in terms of building your online brand. Now, the next thing we'll talk about, once you've registered your domain, you need to set up your email marketing. Yeah, you need to set up your email marketing. Remember, when you're setting up your domain name, I told you there will be a landing page where you'll be getting contacts from your prospective clients. You've marketed on social media, they've come to your domain name landing page, they've seen about us, now they're leaving contacts. Remember, you don't have a website yet, but there is a form where you're kind of channeling your clients. So you're getting their email addresses and their phone numbers. So you have to have a database somewhere where you're keeping these and you're categorizing your customers or your prospective customers. And you're not just getting these contacts for no reason. There's a reason why you're getting the contacts. Now, in terms of email marketing, for those who don't know what email marketing is a form of communicating with customers through email, through bulk email. So instead of sending one email to one person, you can send to all your customers that you've grouped as, for example, prospective customers. If you have existing customers, you can group them into one, and maybe there's an offer you want to send, you can send to all of them and tell them there is this offer. Since you've been our customer, we have this offer for you. So email marketing, there are those email marketing software that normally most people use. And as a startup, there's one that I'll recommend for them. There's what we call MailChimp.com. If they go to www.mailchimp.com, they're able to actually use that particular tool to send emails to their customers. And it's free. It's completely free for up to 2,000 subscribers. So if you know your clientele is up to 2,000, you will not need to pay anything. It has already designed templates that you can use. So maybe what you'll just need to do is to add your logo on that template and send. I'm sure everybody has received an email from a company. Just, those random emails you always get. Those ones have been sent by these marketing software, these email marketing software such as MailChimp, and there are so many others. But I would recommend MailChimp because it's free for up to 2,000 subscribers, and it has a lot of support online where in case you get stuck, you're able to actually do your research and actually ask a question even on their forums, and you're able to actually be sorted. So another thing about MailChimp is in terms of blacklisting, because there are so many email marketing softwares, if you use them, chances are high you're going to be blacklisted because they'll consider it more of spamming, right? Spamming is where you're sending unsolicited emails to your prospective customers without them approving. So MailChimp has a way of getting around that and helping you deliver an email that will be accepted by the customer. It also gives you a report on who has opened and who has received and not yet opened, so you know how to even approach those clients. So for those who've opened, you know very well they've read. So you will know how to now approach or the next thing to do with them. For those who've not opened, you'll know what strategy to use. For those whose emails bounced, you know what strategy again to use. Now, with regards to SMS marketing, there is what we call ujumbe.skyzone. We have a platform called ujumbe.skyzone.co.ke where we actually help people communicate to their customers via SMS. So what you just need to do is to register your business name as a sender ID. The same way you receive a message from M-Pesa. It doesn't give the number, but it says M-Pesa. So that M-Pesa is the name of the business entity. In this case, it will be the name of your business. So, for example, for Skyzone, if we are sending out an email, the person receiving will see they've received a message from Skyzone. that Skyzone is called a sender ID. So all you just need to do is we will register that sender ID for you with mobile network operators like Safaricom, Airtel, and all the other mobile network operators that are available. Then we create an account for you. Then you use that link, ujumbe.skyzone.co.ke, to log in, and you're able to send as many SMSs as possible. Now, the good thing about SMS marketing is it's very affordable. Depending on the number of SMSs you buy, the cost can range from 60 cents to 80 cents per SMS. So it's kind of cheaper as compared to the normal way of SMSing, which is costlier, like it's 1 shilling and all that. So that too kind of helps, because if you noticed, you open your SMSs more than you open your emails. So SMS marketing kind of complements email marketing. Remember, I talked about those people who not opened their emails. Now you can use this strategy of SMS marketing to reach out to them, because maybe they are not able to access their emails. So you can use SMS marketing to reach out to them and tell them there is this offer that you're offering, or whatever thing that you want to actually send to them. So that is about email marketing. Make sure that most people have ignored email marketing and SMS marketing, but it's a very important way of keeping in touch, even with the existing clients, and telling them about the offers and promotions that you currently are running. And you never know. The good thing about email marketing is the customer can actually even forward that offer to somebody who he or she might have heard they need whatever it is that you're offering. So always ensure that there is that consistent sending of emails. If it depends on your calendar, you can do once a week or once in 2 weeks. So depending on how frequent you want to do the email marketing, but make sure it's consistent. If you decided you'll send one email every 2 weeks, make sure it's consistent like that. If you decided it's one email every week, show that consistency. That is how you build your brand with regards to email marketing. Don't send one today, then send the rest. I mean, another after like 3 months, people will have forgotten you.
Okay.
That is about email marketing.
Okay, wow, that is quite a lot. And just listening to you, I'm already seeing the gaps where probably I might not have applied myself very well in terms of online marketing. And I'm sure our audience will also be reflecting on that. Now, is there any other aspect that is important in building a brand that you might have left out, or we can move to the next question?
Yeah, there are actually 2 more that maybe I can just mention.
You'll just mention that in the interest of time.
Yeah. So
Yes.
Now, remember you said the domain registration and email marketing. Now let's assume you've gotten even your first client. Now you need to develop your website, because now your website is like now your house. Yes, you had the address, but you need the house where now your customers will be coming to see where is the sitting room, where is the bedroom, so you need that website that has all the information about your business. And there are free tools that you can use online. We have a platform, a content management system called Joomla and WordPress. You can always find them online and download www.joomla.com or www.wordpress.com. They are free, as I said. You can actually install that on your domain name yourself. As long as you have Google, you can actually just Google. It's a step-by-step process that is not complicated. They have free templates online that you can use as a startup. You don't need to have, when you're starting, you don't need to have a customized look. But when you get to that level where you feel like, I need a very customized look where I want this to appear here, this to appear here, that is when now you can engage organizations like ours to do the customized design for you, because that is a premium aspect of website development. But as you're starting up, you don't need to spend even a shilling on developing that website, because there are these platforms that are free that you can install on your domain or on your hosting account and just run with it. Just change the content to reflect what your content is, update your logo, and that's all you need to have. You'll have your website done. Then the last thing is online advertising and SEO. There are different tools that you can use. Maybe if you get time, you'll actually check the links. There's Google Analytics. There's what we call Keyword Planner. There's keywordtool.io. that will help you organize your search engine optimization. For those people who don't know what search engine optimization is it's just, for example, people don't know about your business. Remember, you're starting up. You're not Safaricom. You're not Facebook. So people they don't know the name of your business. But there are things you can do to ensure that if people are searching for a service or a product you're offering online on those search engines like Google, your link to your website to that specific service is able to be ranked on the first page. That is what we call search engine optimization. So that is something you can, the viewers can actually check on the links. There's keyword tool, there's Google Analytics, Google Search Console that can actually help them, do the SEO. Now, before you do SEO, because it's a long process, I always advise clients to buy ads on Google and Facebook because they have a quick, or rather, their impact is more immediate as compared to SEO. I'm sure you've Googled something and you've seen the first results are always the sponsored ones. Then the SEO results come after that. So if before SEO is fully actualized on your site, we always advise you to buy the ads using Google AdWords. If you're on Google, on Facebook, there's a space where there's a section where you can buy your ads for the posts or for your page and all that. So in a nutshell, all these are digital marketing facets that can help you build your brand online and ensure that you market and not only within your geographical location, but far and wide. Sometimes you just get clients out of nowhere, you wonder what you've been doing. But as long as you keep doing these things consistently, you will actually get more and more clients and you'll keep growing. What you just need to keep in mind is make sure that you do all these things consistently. Don't get to a point where you feel like it's not working. It's just working. It's only that maybe your perception was it has to work immediately. Online marketing doesn't work, and even any other marketing, even offline marketing, it doesn't work immediately. You have to do it consistently, and the results will start showing after your consistent line of activities that you've done. So ensure you do it consistently, and don't forget word of mouth. Wherever you are, make sure digital goes hand in hand with traditional ways of marketing. So don't do digital marketing and forget the traditional way of marketing. So whatever opportunity you get to do a word of mouth, just do it.
Okay, thank you. And just listening to what you're sharing, these are things that I'm seeing youth, especially staying at home with smartphones, they can actually engage in and offer it as a service to some of the businesses, the small businesses who might not be tech savvy or who are scared of getting involved in technology. So for such a group, what can you advise them in terms of translating the information you've shared into an income generating activity?
Now, most young people are very creative, very, very creative. And this actually is the space for them actually to use their creativity in helping so many businesses thrive online. Now, as I mentioned earlier, digital marketing encompasses different aspects. So you might need to learn different aspects if you want to get into digital marketing as a professional, or rather as an income generating activity. So for example, for graphic design, you'll need to learn aspects of Photoshop, Illustrator, but as long as you have your internet, there are those guidelines, or rather there are those guides that can actually help you do that. If you have the passion, you'll not take a day to be the best graphic designer, but as I said, I maintained on consistency. If you're consistently doing your research, one by one, first of all, get somebody and do like a service pro bono. You don't need to charge them. See what the feedback you'll get from the customer that will help you improve. Then it will get to a point where you'll be charging for your service. So you need to learn, for graphic design, you need to learn Photoshop, you need to learn Fireworks, you need to learn Illustrator professionally. But still Canva will come in handy. Then with regards to development of websites, you need to learn different programming languages. Currently, things have been made easier because of platforms like Joomla and WordPress, Magento, and other content management systems. So you don't necessarily need to know hardcore coding. hardcore programming. You can start from what you know. Then with time, you can still keep doing your research. So for website development, you need to learn what we call PHP. You need to learn HTML. There are those programming languages that you need to learn: HTML, PHP. There's a database querying language called MySQL. There's JavaScript, there's jQuery. So those are things, if you start from the basic that I've just mentioned, you're able to learn slowly and slowly into becoming that professional website developer that you want. As I said, it will not happen in a day, but as long as you have the passion, you start from somewhere. Start from that downloaded Joomla platform, then you work from there. With regards to search engine optimization, search engine optimization goes hand in hand with web development. So if you know aspects of web development that I mentioned, you know how to code in HTML, PHP, and all that, search engine optimization will come in handy as long as you know how to do your keyword research and know where to place them on that website. Because SEO is done on the website mostly. There's what we call on-site optimization. That is done on the website. So as long as you've learned how to develop a website, SEO will also be part of the process of learning. It has to go hand in hand. And then digital marketing, remember, is still marketing. So you also have to learn what marketing is all about. So you have to encompass the business aspect of any organization with the technical aspect. Technical is the coding, the design, and all that. Then the marketing part has to also be encompassed. So you have to also do your research on how to market different products and different services. And remember, depending on the nature of your business, the way you market a service might be different from the way you market a product. So you have to understand all those aspects of marketing also.
Okay. Wow, we've really run short of time. Now, assuming that I have gone through all this process and I'm getting to a level where I'm not getting that professional look, because when I invest this time, there's a brand I'm creating, there's a community I want to create around me. So assuming all this is not working, you as Skyzone, what are the services that you offer in addition to this? Because, and other similar organizations, not just you, or even the youth listening, what is the career path in terms of moving from the basics to now the advanced or the more professional services that are offered?
Yeah, now, as I mentioned earlier, there are clients who need, for example, you're working with, for example, just an example, a marketing agency. You're not going to use Canva for their artworks. You have to design your own templates. Canva comes with templates. That's why it's easy to start with. But there are those organizations that need you to start from scratch. The design process has to be conceptualized from a boardroom, come up with the concepts even before you start the design work. Now, that is where Skyzone comes into place. We go meet a client, discuss what they want to get at the end of the day, because in such a case, you need a customized look. From the discussion with the client, you come up with ideas and concepts and proposals, not just one, different concepts. Now, based on what the client envisioned, you are able to go with one line of the concept. Now, from that one line of the concept is where now you start from scratch and develop that as it goes. So if you want to do this professionally, you must learn to do things from scratch. In as much as you're starting from Joomla and the platforms, you need to learn, for example, how to code the different designs. Because I'll give you an example. We met a client who already had the design of a website that he wanted. If you do the basic where you download the Joomla templates, that is not going to work because the client has already he has his own designer. There are times where you don't do the design yourselves internally. You get a client who already has the design, the graphical design of how the website should look like. So you have to code that website the way it looks like. You know, if you don't do that, then the client will not engage you. So for such customized designs and such customized looks, which most organizations, if you transform from a startup to, for example, an SME, you might need that customized design. So in such a case, that is when you come and engage us, because we now start from scratch. We know what your goals are, what you want to end up with. That is when now we come up with different ideas that will help you in the marketing of your business. And that entails doing everything from scratch. You're not using templates. You're not using all those online free tools, because they will not give you they'll not give the client what they desire. So that is why Skyzone is there, to help clients develop creative ideas from scratch. But that doesn't mean those who are starting out cannot use the free tools. They can use that. But once they grow from that level to the next level now, where they want that professional look, that is when now they can engage us as Skyzone.
Okay, thank you so much. And I really appreciate you sharing a lot of information in terms of the basics. And not only just for the youth, but even for those who are in businesses, just to create a brand around whatever it is that they do. Now, as we close the show, what would be your parting shot for those who are listening to us?
Yeah, my parting shot, especially for people not necessarily even in digital marketing, in any other field, always know how to develop. Take your time, do your research, know how to develop whatever you're doing from scratch. Don't depend on what somebody else has designed for you to build up on that. If you want to be like the go-to person, the reasons why we mostly get referrals to our business is because customers know they're going to get what they want, and it's based on referrals. Because somebody experienced this, they're saying, don't go with this particular organization because from our experience, they did what we wanted. So, and invest in learning everything from scratch, so that if you get a customer, for example, there are customers who really are always on your neck. Even a dot on the website, a dot is an issue. So you need to know every aspect of your skill. Of your practice. If you're in training, make sure you know everything that encompasses that. Now, the problem with doing the downloaded versions is something might have changed. Maybe you have a client, you've downloaded a template, and the client doesn't want one aspect, and you don't know how to remove that because you did not develop or rather design that particular template. So invest in learning everything, basically everything within that particular craft you're doing, so that in case a client wants something customized, you're able to offer that, right? And start from somewhere. Don't wait to be a professional for you to start. Start with what you know. From experience, or rather from the feedback you get from your customers, you are able now to improve slowly and do your research and know what to do next.
Okay. Wow, thank you so much, Samuel. We really appreciate what you have shared with us. And there's a book we were to share. Yes, there's a book, an e-branding book. I'm going to share the link before. Let me just share that link I'll share the link as we're closing the session. It's an e-branding book that you can learn 1 or 2 tricks in terms of how to brand yourself. But having listened to what Samuel has shared, the issue of consistency is important, the issue of research. Take your time, research. Once you know what it is, then go into it and consistently do what you have decided to do. That is how you'll create your online presence. That is how you'll create your online brand. That is how you'll create a community around whatever service or product it is that you're offering. And with that, we come to the end of our show. Sorry, we took a bit long, but we appreciate your patience. And we request you to join us again next week on Saturday when we get into one-on-one again with another young and upcoming entrepreneur. So thank you so much and have a lovely weekend.